Right, so what we've got is I'm sitting in the Honda Accord Euro. I'm going to drive down the road. I've got a problematic left-hand wheel bearing, and what's happening is there's no movement up and down on the wheel or left and right. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take it for a drive and show you that what kind of sounds you're expected to make. Now in the beginning, let's say probably a week ago, it was making like a swooshing kind of sound, like an uneven kind of disc sound. Kind of like a scrape and then a scrape and then a scrape, and it would just kind of eventuate from there, and the faster you went, the faster the sound would go. Now it's actually turned into like an actual bearing kind of rattly kind of style problem. And what happens is the more time that goes on, it will eventuate and get worse. So what we're going to do now is we'll take you for a drive. Hopefully you'll be able to hear the problem in the actual vehicle, and it will let you hear what it sounds like when your wheel bearing starts to go. There's many different ways that your wheel bearing can go, so you can't just take movement. If the wheel bearing is not moving, then it's fine. So that's not necessarily the truth. So what we'll do is we'll head off for a drive now, and yeah, hopefully that'll make a difference. Just wind these windows up so don't have to worry about noise. So my bearing is pretty quiet until about 40, then it starts to make noise. Now eventually what's going to happen is the bearing will go from being just a little bit noisy to actually causing full vibrations through the whole vehicle, and it'll kind of like sound like a rumbling noise through the whole car, and you should generally be able to make out where the actual noise is coming from eventually. We're just going to hit about 60 kilometers an hour, and you should be able to hear a vibration through the vehicle. And we'll just wait now. It's about 40, it's about 50. 60 there. So over the top of the road noise, I hope you can hear it, is actually the sound of the bearing kind of making noise there. Alright, so we're here with the Honda. This is my left-hand rear wheel bearing that's problematic. We're just going to jack the car up, rip the wheel off. I'll give you a look at it. There's my new bearing here, so hopefully we should be able to get it replaced and over and done within, let's say, under half an hour. Yeah. Okay, so there's two 14 mils holding the caliper on. We're just gonna crack them and drop the caliper down. So we've just got our one on the top here, and we've got one down the bottom there. And we'll crack them, take them off now, and we'll see what happens. Alright, cool. Now we've got the two 14s removed from the edge of the caliper. There's a 12 mil, I think, holding the brake line itself in place. And what we'll do is we'll just loosen that off, pull it out. Look at the camera here. Okay, cool. So this is our 12 mil here, holding the brake line in place, and we'll just crack that off. Hopefully we can just weight it up. There we go. Just like that. And then once this is loose, we'll just rip it out and pull that line out. So, as you can tell, my bearing is pretty stuffed. You can probably hear it. So it's a bit grindy compared to obviously the new one. We'll get that out. Basically all you do now is when you've got it to this point, rather than just pulling everything off and trying to fit the new one, you find out it's the wrong part. Once you get here, the best thing to do is to actually open up your new box and just see if the parts look the same. Yeah, look, I'm pretty happy with that, so we're going to go ahead and remove the rest of this now. In the back of it, there's four 14 mil bolts, and they line up like this on the back. So there's four in row, and we're just going to undo those 4 just on the back here. I'll see if I can get a camera in there and give you a look. Now these are the 4 bolts we're going to undo. They will be a little bit tight, so I'll give a go at them and then we'll see how we go putting the new part on. Alright, cool, so the 4 bolts are out of the back, and pretty much you just wiggle it loose now until it comes out. And that's one old bearing out. The run of the bearing itself, you can see it's quite notchy, like it's not hopefully you'll be able to hear it as well. So that's a lot nicer, and you can tell it's a lot smoother as well when I run my hands around. Cool. Okay, cool. So as you can see, we've got the bearing lining back up in here, and as you can see, it's going to bed straight on, nice and evenly the whole way around. So there's our bolts starting to stick through, and what we're going to do is we're going to bolt it on and pull it through from the black and close that gap. So we'll just throw the 2 14 mils in the back of the caliper now. Don't forget that 12 mil that hangs in the front with the brake line actually attached to it, just to tidy it out of the way. Handbrake's on, and we'll just work in a star. So if you haven't done it before, just work bottom, opposite side, and then opposite side again, and opposite side until you've done them up. I'll bring the camera closer so you can have a look, and should be all good to go. So this is what I mean, is just work the bottom one first till it, and then go to the opposite one. Opposite again. And opposite again, and opposite again. Now I know that all these are spec to torque, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run over them one more time, just to make sure that they're all nice, all done. Okay, that's all done. We'll take this for a drive real quick and see if we can hear any noise coming out of that bearing. I highly doubt we will, because obviously, as you can tell from before when I showed you this guy, it's pretty grindy and pretty stuffed. Did need to be replaced, so that's a positive. Either way, we're done. Let's go for a drive, test it out. This took me just on half an hour to do. Okay, so we're on the same stretch of road as we were before. We're gonna jump it up to the 60 kilometers an hour again, and hopefully we'll hear it. So that's at 40. We'll just wind these windows up. That's 50. And that's dead on 60 there. So I can tell a massive difference in the car. But I don't know about you guys. Anyway, it's all good. A success. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'm gonna head home and have a relaxed Friday afternoon, so I can't wait for this weekend, so it's going to be great. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.